Hello, everybody. My name's Graham Vigilante. Together, we're all making Gotham great again. So, there's an article in the Intercept that I want to talk about because while everyone was getting bent out of shape about, Michelle Wolf, not a very well-known comedian, making fun of the press secretary and Kellyanne Conway, and then, of course, as soon as Michelle Wolf does that, makes fun of Trump and the press and everybody, all the press goes and starts kissing Kellyanne Conway and then everyone's all, oh, I can't believe it, oh, outrage, and then they're only going after Michelle Wolf because she's a woman and blah, 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 blah. While that was happening, 10 journalists in Afghanistan were murdered. Journalists who are actually putting themselves on the line. Because that's what journalism is supposed to be. I just rewatched the movie Spotlight. I've seen that movie probably 3 or 4 times. It came out in late 2015. And it's, it's like the last window that they dropped that story about the Catholic Church in Boston in January of 2002. So they start investigating in, 2001. And they're threatened by the Catholic Church. It's a true story and all this stuff. And that's what journalism is supposed to be. Calling out the powerful. Well, journalists now are owned by the powerful. They push the war machine. And I forget the woman's name, but she's on TYT. She did an interview. She goes, the relationship between the press and the White House should be acrimonious. JFK said that. He said, the press annoys me, but that's what it should be. That's what a democracy should be. The press should be poking around, asking all these kind of questions. Instead, the press now is just an arm of the marketing department of the goddamn deep state. And it just shows me all this shit that people go, oh my God, can't you believe what Michelle Wolf said? And they're not being fair to Michelle Wolf, and she's not being fair to Sherry Suckabee Sanders, and ding. Fuck off. Oh no, Trump called those third world countries shitholes. Obama would never do that. No, he wouldn't. No, Obama would. He never would have called them shitholes. He would have bombed the shit out of them. 130 kids die every day in Yemen. But I'm sure the food at the Correspondents dinner was nice. 10 Afghan journalists were eating their last meals and having their final conversations with loved ones, but they didn't know it. On Monday, they were murdered in attacks that specifically targeted them. One was shot by assailants in the Khost province, a province I've been to. The others were killed in Kabul, a city I've been to, when a suicide bomber mixed with them as they reported on a bombing that had just happened. This hardly counts as news in America because we have a peculiar ideas on what constitutes bravery in journalism. This article is by Peter Maas of the Intercept. The link is in the show notes below. And he talks about after Michelle Wolf made fun of everybody, the journalist then apologized to Sarah Huckabee Sanders. Oh, we're sorry that comedian got crazy. It's the madness of this country. Here's what this journalist has to say. The White House Correspondents' Dinner touches on everything that is lucratively diseased in Washington journalism, but the martyrdom of 10 journalists in Afghanistan tells you everything you need to know about hard-scrabble courage in this profession. I have seen this in every war zone and authoritarian nation I've reported from. Ordinary men and women who risk and sacrifice their lives to report on powerful people and institutions whose displeasure will be expressed in far more serious ways than an unreturned phone call. Yasir Murtaja, Anna Poliskaya, I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing these, Peter Julius Moy, Almagid Mojali, Marie Colvin, Khalid Hussan, to name a few. It's shocking to see how brave they are. In Afghanistan alone, 34 journalists and media workers have been killed by the Taliban alone. 34. And the Islamic State. Since the start of 2016. According to a tally by Reporters Without Borders. If you're reporting on an authoritarian regime, as America is becoming, or a ruthless insurgency, and you don't fear for your livelihood or your life, you are probably doing something wrong. If you are concerned that you will not get invited to a background briefing or won't be handed a morsel of news that is a scoop for 15 seconds, you are worrying about the wrong things. If you are defending the honor of a powerful official in a dishonest government rather than working all out to expose their corruption, you should hand your notebook to someone who will do the job right. And this goes, that's the thing. The journalists are in bed with the politicians and the corporations, so they don't want to get shut out. They don't want to lose access. They don't want to get the fancy interviews and all that other stuff. And they'll ask a couple like hardball questions. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're about as hard as a puppy bark. You know, when a puppy goes, it's like, ooh, tough question. You're willing to put your life on the line? Are you willing to put your life on the line? Then you're not a real journalist. American journalists pride themselves on their journalism culture. We have prizes galore. We have a giant and debt-ridden museum in our honor. We have journalist schools that attract students from across the world. When a famous television journalist dies like Tim Russert, he is lauded as one of the greats, a model for all time. Yes, there is certainly great journalism done in this country. The latest Pulitzer Prize recipients and finalists are fine examples. But let's look at Afghanistan because we are not the center of the journalism universe. America has been fighting a war in Afghanistan for the past 17 years. It's the longest war that America has ever fought in. Did you know that we're still fighting there? Does Sarah Huckabee Sanders and anyone who got all bent out of shape or rallied, I mean, I thought what Michelle Wolf did was funny, good for her, but it wasn't this like wow moment. It was like, oh, good, someone's saying something. The Afghan war has been a complete disaster for most Afghanis, yet we hear little about it these days. We know about war and life in Afghanistan as reported almost exclusively by Afghans, people like Shah Mara, a veteran photographer for Agence France Presse who was killed in the suicide blast in Kabul, or Maram Durrani, who just a week ago started a radio station and was killed in the same blast, or Ahmad Shah, a BBC reporter in Khost who was shot on his bike. The other assassinated journalists are Yar Mohammed Taqi, Abdullah Han Azai, Shabuan Qatar, Ghazi Rusuli, Nazwazar Rajabi, Salim Talash, and Ali Salimi. Instead of celebrating themselves, the satisfied reporters of Washington, D.C. should honor the journalists who show real courage in their work. There's talk of White House Correspondents' Dinner being changed in some way because it's collapsing under the weight of its absurdity. So here's some suggestion. Move it to Afghanistan. I like this reporter. Yeah, you motherfucking bitches. You punk-ass crybabies. Go out of that nice hotel in the Beltway where you're getting served your braised duck or whatever. Go to Afghanistan. Go to Kabul. I've been there. I'll go back. I know it's not going to happen, so here's another suggestion for the gala-attended journalists of America. Just shut the fuck up about yourselves and do the kind of brave work that journalists are doing all over the world every day.